Supreme Court justice decides the fate of our country.
Yeah,
decides the fate of our country.
If Obama replaces one of the conservative Supreme Court justices in his next term, I think we're done. We're done. You can't have this Ruth Bader Ginsburg mentality.
Equally as disturbing are the words of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I can quote it like we did earlier on the show, but we now have the audio. This is Ruth Bader Ginsburg as she was talking about the United States and Egypt and the Constitution and the future. This is a Supreme Court justice. This is somebody who is now supposedly defending our Constitution, is the guardian of our Constitution. Listen to what she says.
Well, I can't speak about what the Egyptian experience should be because I'm operating under a rather old Constitution. The United States, in comparison to Egypt, is a very new nation. And yet we have the oldest written Constitution still in force in the world.
It seems to be a bad thing to her.
Yeah.
First of all, she calls it a very old Constitution and then calls the country young. They happened at the same time, Sweet Cheeks.
But she's saying in the
I mean, Sweet Cheeks, with all the love
I know
and respect
that she deserves. Here's the thing. She means that in comparison to Egypt, which is a very old country, we're a very young country. But as it goes to constitutions, we have the oldest. Now, Ruth, sweetie, honeypot,
pumpkin.
And I mean the pumpkin part, with all due respect.
Of course.
That this Supreme Court justice
What about the pudding part? Did you mean
pudding?
that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, pudding.
All right.
Pudding, pudding pie, pudding pop. Let me talk to you here, honey. The idea that we have the oldest Constitution should tell you something.
It should tell you that it works.
That it works. Because other constitutions come and go. How many have since the U.S. Constitution? We should do a check on how many constitutions have been written since the American Constitution.
Well, it would be in the hundreds, I'm guessing, because just in the Soviet Union / Russia, it's been 7 since 1920.
Yeah,
7.
It's phenomenal. This thing has lasted the test of time because it works, sweetie. Okay, honey pie. All right,
doll face.
Doll face.
Maybe that one doesn't apply.
No,
okay, maybe that doesn't.
For someone her age, doll face probably does. Doll face.
All right.
I mean, if you're out with you're out with the Sharks and what was the other one? All I can think of is the Crips from that Frank Sinatra movie, West Side Story. It was Sharks and the
I don't remember
whatever, but Dollface would remember it.
Yeah, she would. She would, and she continued. There was more on the U.S. Constitution.
You should certainly be aided by all the Constitution writing that has gone on since the end of World War II.
Okay, stop. Since the end of World War II.
Now, wait. Ours wasn't written since the end of World War II.
Mm-mm.
Huh, that's interesting.
The real progressive era that began around the whole world, where you get the United Nations balancing everything. That's what she's looking for.
I would not look to the U.S. Constitution if I were drafting a Constitution in the year 2012. I might look at the Constitution of South Africa.
Stop. Here is the defender of the U.S. Constitution saying that it is old, it is outdated, and if you're going to do something in 2012, you certainly wouldn't use the U.S. Constitution.
Was it a deliberate attempt to have a fundamental instrument of government that embraced basic human rights,
not ours,
had an independent judiciary? It really is, I think, a great piece of work that was done.
Would you read the preamble? Would you read the preamble of the United States Constitution? Because let's just A/B compare them, because we should look at the preamble of the Constitution of the United States of America and the preamble of the South African Constitution. Here's the preamble of the South African Constitution. We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustices of our past. honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, respect those who have worked to develop and build our country. We believe that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, united in our diversity. We therefore, through our freely elected representatives, adopt this Constitution as the supreme law of the Republic so as to heal the divisions of the past and establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. Lay the foundation for a democratic and open society. Is that George Soros calling? In which government is based on the will of the people and every citizen is equally protected by the law.
That's so much better.
Then what?
Than this old, dusty, outdated nonsense. Listen to this. This is the Constitution of the United States. Pathetic, I think you'll find. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
I don't even know what that means.
I mean, who?
It doesn't mention social justice, nor does it, an open society.
No.
George Soros is not happy about this. And of course, as George Soros said last week in Davos, he is, and I quote, one of the angels.
He's one of the angels?
He's one of the angels trying to protect our society. Seriously. And he said, you're one of the angels that are just trying to save society. And he knows that, I'm quoting, an angel is a very hard role to fill.
Especially if you're a demonic angel. If
he's
you're
doing a good job
from hell.
Yeah.
He's a hell's angel.
Yeah,
is that what he's talking about?
Well, not really. The motorcycle people?
No, not the motorcycle people.
All right, then I would agree with you.
He doesn't wear the leather for that.
No, he does not. No. He's much more subtle. He's much more subtle in his hell's angel role.
But there's more. Here's more from Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Much more recently than the U.S. Constitution, Canada has a Charter of Rights and Freedoms, dates from 1982.
Oh, it's way
you
better.
would almost certainly look at the European Convention on Human Rights.
Well, you got to look at the European Convention on Human Rights.
Okay, good.
I mean,
so yes, why not take advantage of what there is elsewhere in the world?
Yeah, you don't want to start with us, but not us.
No.
I mean, that thing is icky and old and decrepit. Like me, for instance, Darth Bader Ginsburg. But go to the new stuff, the stuff that was born. Do not look to the U.S. Constitution. I am your Supreme Court Justice.
This is amazing.
It is.
To protect and defend the Constitution. Somebody who has absolutely no respect for it.
She obviously has a distaste for it, at least. A disdain.
Well, you might, as something in a museum. You might enjoy it as something in a museum. It's part of our past, sure. But I think that's how she looks at it. Oh, yeah.
She'd rather see it as a museum piece, not something
because that's where it belongs.
Yeah.
It's old, it's dusty, it was powdered wigs, it's, quill pins and all of that. And how are they going to possibly, how could our founders possibly come up with something? You know what that is? Why read the Bible? That's old. It's old. How could it possibly know what? I mean, Moses didn't see TV. There couldn't be anything in there that would help you understand, how to control your family in today's society.
No, we've evolved way past that.
Way past that. There was nothing there's nothing in that old dusty book that can help you today.
Well, look, they once thought adultery was wrong.
And stealing. And coveting. I don't even know what coveting isn't that what witches do? They make something like that, and I don't even know. I mean, hello, Salem, Massachusetts. Oh, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. This is why you need to teach your children what's in the Constitution, why you need to teach